Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. Today I'm sitting down with Mantas again. It's been a while since we last talked, but V2 for the Lenfi protocol is just about to launch in the next few days. So good time to have a catch up, Mantas. Thanks for taking the time to come on and looking forward to finding out what's coming in V2.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so look, we're going to jump straight into it. For anybody who hasn't heard of the protocol, I'm going to leave a link down below to our first interview, but that was looking more at version 1 of the protocol, which was peer-to-peer lending. For anyone not familiar with that, that's I have 1,000 data, I'm willing to lend them out, and it's a one-to-one. So I put them up, one other person can come in and fulfill the other side of that loan, and we agree whatever rates and everything like that. Pooled lending is a bit different. Can you talk about what the difference is between version 1 of your protocol and version 2?
Yeah, so as you mentioned on the V1, the user had to select the interest rate, select the parameters of the loan. What we did, we tried very hard to make this in the code, into the smart contracts. So instead of the person selecting the rates, there is actually a pool with defined parameters, which is saying what's the interest rates, what's the liquidation thresholds, and what's any other information needed to be made. So we are taking this hurdle from the user and putting this on the smart contract level. So as a user, you should just get to know how these smart contracts works, and it will help to make the better user experience for the lending and the borrowing. So yeah.
Okay, so I suppose instead of me setting any parameters, I just say I have 1,000 data I'm willing to put into the protocol. I want to earn extra interest. I put that in, and then the pool, the interest rates and everything, they're decided by the supply and demand then, is it?
Yes. Yes, and
Okay.
also there is a total economy built around that. So it will include the liquidations, the repayments, oracles, any actions you had to do yourself manual on the V1. You will just put your assets in the V2, and all the actions will be done by someone else, because everyone else will be getting some sort of the payments for doing those actions.
Okay, so everybody can come in and take a cut, and with the lending and borrowing, it all depends on the market prices. So you mentioned liquidations there. Can anybody liquidate loans? Are ye liquidating the loans, or how does that work? And for anyone who hasn't heard of that, that's basically you have to over collateralize a loan when you're putting it in. So if I put in 1,000 data, I could take out, would say 800 ADA worth of another token. But if the price of my ADA goes down, the token I've taken out goes up. That means that I don't have enough collateral to cover the loan if I don't pay it back. So it needs to be liquidated. The ADA is sold to buy the other token. So the person who supplied the other token gets back what they put in. So can anybody run that? Is it a bot, or how does that work?
Yes, anyone can run that. Since our code is open sourced, and we already have shared our, as we call them, batchers. So any extra code that might be needed to be run by any market participant. So this includes the liquidations. You know, if you see the loan, for example, you took the loan and your health factor fell below 1 because of the actions you just mentioned, anyone can liquidate your loan, repay the pool the amount the pool deserves, additionally take some of the fee to themselves, and return remaining collateral to you. So when you will come to platform after the liquidation, you will see your loan was liquidated and how much of collateral is remaining for you to claim.
On this, the interest rates, I think in V1, the interest rates were fixed when it was decided between the two parties, but do the interest rates remain liquid throughout the loan? Or if it's at 5% when I take my loan, do I get 5%, or that's just moving with the supply and demand of the market?
Yeah, interest rates are fixed at the time of the borrowing. So when you take a loan and the interest rates are saying 5%, that's the 5% for the loan you have to pay. It's not going to change for your loan. But if you decide to take another loan, the interest rates will be different. So it's fixed for the loans.
Okay, I suppose that's one area that might be different to some lending platforms do it that way. Some do it that you're moving with the market, depends on supply and demand. I suppose for some people who want to account for everything when you're taking out the loan, they want to know, okay, this is the rate that that I'm going to get and I'm going to have to pay. I suppose traditional banks that's the way people are used to looking at it. Any other differences between what you guys have for pooled lending and V2 to maybe some other lending and borrowing platforms that people might be familiar with?
I would say we are open sourced. It's one of the huge things to consider when you are choosing what platform to use, because you don't need to trust the guys who are running it. You actually need to trust the code that is running. And usually people don't get into the code too much because it's hard. But at least knowing that someone else could look into the code and say, okay, it's fine. That's a reasonable that's a reason to use it. Just knowing the trust. You don't need to trust the guys. Trust the code.
Yeah, so I suppose the security aspect is open source is good and bad. It brings competition for you guys. Someone else can take it and try and build, but it's hard to beat the initial protocol. Can others actually build on top of Lenfi, or is there other, because the code is open source, is there ways that others could build on top of that would benefit
yes.
Lenfi as a protocol?
Yes, so there is a multiple layers, on the protocol, and just to add one more thing to what's the difference between the other protocols is, so we use the pools, but the pools they are not pools are isolated. If there is a pool where a loan is a certain asset and collateral is a certain different asset, it's only if all the price actions could impact only this pool. If some, let's say, a mint price have changed, it's not going to impact the pool where is Lenfi and ADA as a collateral, for example. So all the pools are isolated, which makes it safer in some cases. Also, that's basically all the difference. And regarding wait, what was the question?
Just is there ways for people to build on top of Lenfi, so build additional functionality or even additional protocols on top of what Lenfi have?
Yes. Since the pools are open, which means anyone can interact with them, and when you're making a loan or depositing the tokens, you are actually interacting directly with the pool. There is no batcher layer. You need to interact. So it helps to have a composability in the blockchain in overall, since you can do multiple actions in one transaction, and it allows other protocols to make other tools, not only protocols, to build on top of that. For example, to make a leverage buy or the trade using a text hunter, for example. You can swap the tokens and put them as a collateral and get liquidity again and swap the tokens again. So you can actually do this. And additionally, on the protocol level, we do have a protocol fees. And this protocol fees guarantees that you are paying the protocol because protocol have to run the oracles. And additionally, just we have to monitor the parameters in the pools and make sure everything is all right. Despite that, anyone can create any of the pools, any of the tokens. Like there is no whitelisted list of the tokens. However, there is a token of list V whitelist and allowed to be used on our UI. When you come to Lenfi.io, to the website, there's actually a list of the tokens that we do support, because if the token is illiquid, it's very risky to use them in any of the side of the lending and borrowing, whether it's loan or collateral.
Yeah, I suppose then that would be due to the price, that it doesn't take much to actually move the price, which could trigger liquidations and probably some other aspects in there too. And on that one aspect you said there about the individual pools. So when I have my ADA and I want to earn some, as an end user, I want to earn some extra interest on it, I need to pick the pair that's going against, isn't it? I can't put it in as I put in ADA and let you guys handle the lending and borrowing. Then I do individual pools.
Yes. When you open UI, you see different pools with the different collateral options. You as a normal market user, you would pick the pool that has the largest utility. Because if the utility is large enough, utilization is hard enough, then it means someone is borrowing your ADA and paying interest for it, and you're getting higher yields. Additionally, if you deposit ADA into the pool and no one is borrowing that, it is delegated to the stake pools and making the interests the same interest that you would be making if you simply have the ADA in your wallet, so you don't lose.
Okay, and just on that, is that still delegated to the stake pool that I've chosen in my wallet, or do you guys delegate to set stake pools through the smart contract?
So this is where the centralization kicks in. When someone creates the pool, they decide to what stake pool I delegate that specific pool, and that creator receives the pool manager NFT, and this NFT allows you to manage the stake credentials of this of our liquidity pool address at any time. You can simply change the stake pools at any time you want, as many times as you want. You know, the thing is, if you choose the right stake pool and which can raise a high yields, likely you will receive liquidity by some other users who have ADA but simply want to deposit to the pool with the highest yields.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and one thing on that, I suppose. So the user, whoever sets up the pool initially, you can have multiple pools for the same pairs. So let's say Ada World Mobile, and there are 10 different pools for that. How does the UI pick which one to show the end user? Will you allow them to see all of them, or do you pick the top one by the interest rates or APYs?
So we are giving you a tool for you to decide, which one to show. Of course, we don't want to have don't want to have the UI where you open the UI and you see multiple pools with the same tokens, many of them. So there are tools that will allow you to make the best pick. They're just filtering and sorting, and it's not that hard after all. And mostly the most liquid pools are the pools that users should care about, because this is where the borrowers will take the loans out, because they can get the best rates, and this is because of the rates, basically.
And do you monitor the staking rewards for stake pools to calculate the APYs? I'm just thinking, if you got a bad actor come in and ended up getting one of the most liquid pools there, they could set up a stake pool and have 99% fees, delegate the pool manager NFT to them. Do you have ways to calculate the APYs? Obviously, that wouldn't be as good for the user because they're not getting the staking rewards. Do you have checks in place for that type of thing?
Yeah. Every pool, when you open it, you see which stake pool it's delegated, and additionally, what are the yields from the last epochs on the pool.
Oh, okay.
So that's one of the biggest, the drawbacks to allow someone else, to update the staking pool at any time they like. But the thing is, that's the only way we could come up with a decentralized lending and borrowing, because otherwise we would be the ones who would select the pools, what to delegate. We would have some sort of a DAO voting or something done every month, every half a year or something. So in this way, it's truly decentralized. So there's no need for us to manage it.
Yeah. And just on the staking rewards and interest in general, some people have questions around how they actually claim their interest. From my understanding, that's all just paid back into the pool, and essentially they own a percentage of the pool. So if I put in my ADA, then that decides what percentage of the liquidity pool that I actually own. So when I go to claim back my ADA, or ADA or whatever token people put in, you're able to claim back your token plus whatever interest it's earned at the time. It's not paid out individually or anything like that.
Yeah. Every interest and the fees are paid into the pool directly. And we use the same model of the LP tokens as we do have on the DEXs. And the LP token is a representation of the pool share you have. If the pool, the amount of the assets in pool increases without the LP token increase, which means you will get a bigger, the same share, but of the bigger pool.
Yeah. Okay. I just see questions around people wondering about how they get their interest. And I suppose with that, they're effectively earning interest on top of their interest, because like staking, it's automatically staked, even if you don't have to claim it every epoch to be earning staking rewards on the rewards that you earn. So in terms of the loans that I take out, then say I take out a loan and I get a really good interest rate, because the rates are locked in when I take out the loan. You have the concept of bonds where I could actually sell that on to someone. How will that work for people? So I think there could be a market there, because the interest rate that someone new coming into a pool that they want to take out a loan they could get could be a lot higher than someone else who already has a loan out. So there could be ways to do a deal there on a third party market. How does the bonds work that you guys have?
Yeah, so when you speak about the bonds, you shouldn't consider the loan, the parameters of the loan, the interest rates or loan amounts. You should just view into the collateral you left to secure the loan, because the bond is a right to claim the collateral if the loan is repaid. And so the idea of the bonds is, and having the market for them is, if you take the loan, you gamble this out and you cannot repay it, but you still, you have a collateral. You have one option is to wait for the liquidation and claim the remaining of the collateral, which will reduce because of the fees. Or you can actually sell this bond and for example, for the same value as the collateral, or less, or slightly less than that, and someone else will repay the loan for you and will claim the collateral. So it's about the collateral and the right to the collateral. Since it's not assigned to the wallet, when you take out the loan, you actually mint the new NFT token, and this NFT token is a representation of the collateral.
Okay, so that's your access to what that loan was, and you have to have the collateral to pay it back, and you can claim, or you pay back what was borrowed, and you can claim the collateral then. Will there be marketplaces? Are you guys setting up a market for, there could be opportunities there, but for people to actually be able to find these, if someone has, it's another way for people to maybe earn something extra, is if they're able to find people who can't repay, they can pay them, get the bond and pay it back. Will ye have a market for that? Or would that be done somewhere else, like, I suppose, JPEG Store or other NFT marketplaces?
Yeah, generally, we don't need to have any of the, to invent the bicycle in this case. All the NFT marketplaces can be used, because it's, just to make the transaction of selling the bonds in the trustless manner. So any of the existing NFT marketplaces can be used. What we are giving is the way to check what's the parameters of the bond, because if you go to marketplace, you will see some weird name with something, and it doesn't tell you anything. What could you actually do? You could just take this NFT bond, its token name or ID, and check on our UI and see, okay, this is with the value of collateral. This is the loan terms if you care about them, and this is what you would be buying if you would be buying it.
Yeah, I suppose that's the missing part that some marketplaces mightn't have now, because they are generic. But having ways, especially if this really kicks off and there is a market there for it, that people can come in and see at an easy glance what's there, and potentially it's something that even others could build on top of that, on top of Lenfi. Another one I was thinking was, because I have to choose the pool, there's potential for aggregators to come in there, and so you would put your ADA into a different smart contract, and the aggregator would keep moving that around with whatever is the best interest rates at the time. So I like that, that there's lots of potential to build on top of it. So questions then I seen from the community was around the Lenfi token. Where does the Lenfi token fit into everything here?
Yeah, so so the goal of all of it was first to build the product. We started with a V1, now we have a V2. Hopefully, V2 is going to be used much more than the V1 was. I'm not saying we didn't have success with the V1. It's a great product built on Python basically, but the point is, people are using it, and the token comes when we have a product that people are using. The token will be an additional layer, as we call it, a business layer, where we could actually make revenue streams from the volume. And in exchange for this, the token comes with a security model, which means it's like this the insurance policy for the pools. Because as you saw in other lending protocols, what happened? Some of the Oracle price collapsed, and protocol ended up with a bad debt because protocol ends up with a bad debt, not currently because we don't have any of the insurance. When you are depositing to the pool and something bad happens to the pool, you could come to us and say, okay, look guys, like bad debt is there, what can we do? And and then, for example, we would say, okay, we will compensate for this or this because it's our mistake because of something of something of something. But it would be like one benefiter from this. Like we would need to take care of this. The token comes with as a insurance. If you are depositing the funds to the certain pools, you're actually paying for the insurance, and this insurance will guarantee that if something bad happens, you will get repaid. And additionally, if nothing bad happens, the token holders will get premiums for that.
Okay, and does that come in the form of staking for token holders? I know I've seen it mentioned there will be staking for the Lenfi token. There was questions around when that kicks in or if that comes with V2.
It's not going to come with a mainnet launch of the V2, but that's the second thing we are building right now.
Okay, and any indication on APYs or what that would look like, or will that be dependent on usage of the protocol?
Yes, to give you an example, so the API
with numbers here.
Yeah, if you take the whole pool out, like if someone is borrowing, the whole pool utilization rate is 99%. The interest rates they are going to pay is like 170 at maximum. We use the same interest rate calculation as it is used on Aave, and I think Liquid is using the same probably. It grows gradually at the beginning, and then it goes steeply if there is a certain utilization rate reached. And it's all going to the yields are going to be determined by the borrowers. If people are borrowing, the yields are going to be higher. If not, it's no one. We will not print money. There is no way, us to create a value if there is no borrowing volumes in here.
Yeah, and just on the Lenfi token and staking, is there set staking rewards there? What you were talking about there was the interest rate, I think, on the loans, but on Lenfi for staking, will there be set staking rewards, or how does that work?
Yeah, so that's why we are waiting for the mainnet launch, simply to understand what are the volumes and what are the streams that we are getting. Because if you we could, I don't know, come up with any of the numbers, and that might be not right depending on the volume. For example, if there is not enough of the borrowing, then giving too much tokens is simply destroying the value. And vice versa, if there is a lot of borrowing and giving not enough of the tokens is going to destroy the value as well. So that we need to see how the product is used. So then apply on top of it, not to try to predict too much in the future.
Yeah, and on the interest rates, is that purely based on the supply and demand, or will they be supplemented with the Lenfi token? We see sometimes with protocols where, I suppose, indexes, it's yield farming, but in lending and borrowing, where you earn some of the protocol token as well as the interest rate. Are you going that route, or is it just purely the interest paid by the borrower that this supplier earns?
Yeah, currently we do think that the product will win, and if the product is if the product is good enough, someone will be paying to use it. So if we need to pay to use the product, then the product sucks. Of course, some vampire attacks could happen, and someone could do some, I don't know, just create another protocol which would try to extract the liquidity from there. Then it's fine, to have the fight and just to pay with the liquidity of our own. But we don't need to do it now, so we don't need to pay for users to use our product.
Okay, and this is, I suppose, everything I'm asking here is something that the protocol can come back to later with governance. The token will be used for it has been already used for governance for V1 for voting what tokens can be used on the platform, and going forward, things like that could be used or could be put to a governance vote, could they?
Anything could be. Basically, I'm just a tool, writing code, and I'm checking what is Discord guys are saying or Telegram guys are saying, and we have to follow them. And if you don't, we simply don't have a community, you know. And if any of the DAO votes made, we have to simply to apply to them.
Okay. I've seen some getting towards the end now. If I've missed anything, make sure and shout. I think we've covered a lot of the basics and how people can interact and use the protocol. And I will try and put some demos together once the mainnet comes out in the next few days too. But around marketing, I've seen different questions. There's allocations in the tokens for marketing in that. Are you guys going to be going on a rollout with marketing, or have you looked at that yet?
Yes, we had a plan set. Luckily, we stopped some marketing campaigns at a very early stage. Right now, we really look into the mainnet launch and seeing how the things are going. The thing is, when you launch, you know, on the blockchain, many people will come on the first day, on the first hour, and all of them will try. All of them will connect their wallets. All of them probably will try to deposit and do something, and there's going to be huge traffic. And in the next day or in the 2 days, the traffic will going to be smaller, and less issues will happen on, you know, on our infrastructure. So it really sucks from that point of view, because we can't just stealthily launch an app, you know, and just invite anyone to use it, because it's more or less at the beginning of the event, and people are waiting just to put their fingers into our app. And yeah, and one thing to add, so when you consider whether to use our protocol or not, we built this protocol on the open source mindset. Yeah, on the mindset. And the point is, so when you have a tokens or ADA or any assets in your wallet, they are simply being idle here there in your wallet. And we built a product where you could have the same access to the same assets, you know, but in the form of the liquidity tokens, for example. But someone else could borrow those tokens, and if they need and pay extra interest on top of your tokens. So instead, if you have any of the assets, you could simply put this into our protocol, and they will generate extra interests if someone is borrowing them. And if you need the assets back, you can simply claim them at any time. You know, there is no time lock. There is nothing. Like it works in the same manner as a wallet. Hopefully, of course, there are risk of the protocol failure. You know, and that's the interests. That's the risk you are getting paid with the interests.
Yeah, and one final one I've seen from the community was centralized exchanges. Are you going to go that route, or are you going to stay with decentralized exchanges?
We are getting so many asks, you know, come list this sex or this sex, but all of them are paid heavily, and many of them don't have much of the utility as well. You have to pay for them a lot, and we are not the early stage protocol or where you need to have some sort of the access liquidity, you know, because for getting tokens on the sex will help for someone else to sell the tokens after all, you know. We don't need that, and we don't need that from the sexes that are not very, I don't know how to say it, first tier, you know, not the big ones, because many protocols have already launched their tokens, I don't know, in one or another sex, and it didn't have any of the impact. Maybe you could say, okay, there is maybe new token holders because someone was, I don't know, Ethereum holder and decided, okay, here's a Cardano native token and I will buy it, and I'm coming to Cardano space and I like it now. Maybe a couple cases like this happened, but it's the value you get for the price maybe doesn't worth it.
Yeah, I think especially lower tier exchanges, that it's nice to say, oh yeah, we're getting listed here, but then it can nearly do damage to the product because you have to pay the market makers to actually be trading on it. And then when people see that there isn't much volume happening there, sometimes it's put back as a reflection on the project rather than there's just not that many users there, or it's the wrong timing. So it's about getting the timing right and hopefully being able to get some of the higher ones that actually have volume of people who will be coming in looking to, I suppose, get access to the Cardano ecosystem and get access to different DeFi protocols like yourselves that are building on it. I think we've covered a lot of different things in this video. Hopefully it's answered most of the questions that people have. I'm sure there are going to be others out there. If there are questions, do leave them down below. I will pass them on to Mantas and the team. Maybe you guys can put them into Discord, or I can put them into one of my weekly videos just to catch up on the ones that are missed. But anything we have missed today that you think we should have covered?
Yeah. If anyone, I will just double that. If anyone, have any of the suggestions, questions, or anything, just come to our channels, Telegram, Discord, and simply ask them. We really are keen for the feedback and just to improve the product. You're not going to defend ourselves in any of the walls. Just come and say if you don't like it.
Yep, it's great to see a team that's open to feedback, both good and bad, because nothing's going to be perfect on day one. There's always room for improvement in absolutely everything that we do. I'll put links to your socials, the site down below. And once I get the demo out of how to use the protocol, then I will put the link to that below. Mantas, thanks very much for your time. Best of luck with the launch this week and going forward as well. And we'll catch up in maybe 2-3 months time. We'll catch up, see how launch has gone and what's coming next for you guys then. So anyone watching, subscribe, give the video a like, comment questions, share this out to let others know what's happening with Lenfi V2, and we'll talk soon. Cheers, Mantas.
Thank you.